Welcome to Amanda Hall's Psychic Soy Candle Workshop this week, and we're up to workshop number 51. This week we're going to be talking about soulmates. So I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you here again on our Wednesday morning live show here from the Gold Coast. My name's Amanda Hall Psychic. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in the psychic industry here in Australia for over 40 years. I've been inducted into the Psychic Hall of Fame, and for 5 years in a row I was awarded Psychic of the Year here in Australia. So this week it's a very exciting show. It's our Valentine's Day week show, and we're going to be talking about soulmates this morning. So I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you once again, sort of sit down, say hello, spend some time with us, work out, what's important to you about your soulmate, or if you want one, or if you haven't got one, what does it mean for you? So take the time to sort of sit down and pay attention to us today, because everybody has a different version of what a soulmate is. So again, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you here to Amanda Hall Psychic Soy Workshop series. We're up to workshop number 51. Next week actually this week, because I had a week off over Christmas, we've actually been going 12 months. Now, isn't that amazing? 12 months here on Facebook Live. By has the year gone quickly. We started last year on the Valentine's Day show. So this year, that's why I thought we'd talk about soulmates and how to attract your soulmate and what does it mean to you. So I want to get some T's and C's out of the road before we start. I do not under any circumstances give away complimentary or free readings here on this workshop. It's purely a teaching facility, and it's something that I'm happy to do to give back to my industry, to share my knowledge with everybody around the world of what I've worked with in the last 40 odd years as being a psychic astrologer, and some of the things that I've learnt along the way. And people sort of quite often ask me in my work when they have readings and things like that, where's my soulmate? Why haven't I found my soulmate yet? And sometimes I have a little chuckle to myself, thinking to myself, if you really only knew what a soulmate was, you might not necessarily want one of those, because a soulmate isn't necessarily always the person we're going to spend the rest of our lives with, which is commonly what people think. After, as I said, being in this industry for a very, very long time, and seeing just about every possible combination there is to a relationship and what can and can't go wrong in a relationship and how people work, and we are all human and we all have a weaker side and a more positive side and everything rolled into one, and we can all be vulnerable and we can all be manipulative. It's just in varying degrees that you sort of understand then the reasons or the why we sort of term the word soulmate. And a soulmate isn't, as I said, somebody that we're necessarily meant to spend the rest of our lives with and live happily ever after. Soulmates are actually somebody that we come here to learn lessons with. And people say to me, well, that's okay, I'm happy to learn the lessons. But quite often, they're not necessarily the easiest of lessons, because we've done this journey before with this particular person in many, many previous lifetimes, especially if you believe in karma as I do, and past lives, that we've all been here before and we'll probably all come back again. And we have so many lessons that we need to learn along the way. And quite often those lessons are with people that we term as our soulmate. And our soulmate isn't always our lover or our love interest. We can have a soulmate relationship with many people throughout our lifetimes, because we have many different journeys and lessons that we need to learn. So the word soulmate is thrown around quite loosely and probably out of context for as I know it, but we've gone through what a soulmate can mean. You can have a soulmate relationship with your mother, your brother, your sister, your neighbour, the school teacher, the barmaid even. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a love affair or a physical sexual relationship with them. The ultimate soulmate relationship, as I understand it, is a relationship where we have such a strong love connection that we rise above the physical, earthly sort of need to have a bedroom situation together. We actually have a relationship with this person that is such a deep soul connection that we respect them too much for that, that we've gone past that point, that we have such a strong intuition together. We'll always be there for each other, and it's not always a male-female connection. It can be two females, two males. It can be with anyone that we have the ultimate soulmate connection with, that we fully understand this person, we fully understand where they're coming from. It's like we're able to delve deep into their soul and know exactly how they're feeling and what they're feeling and why they're feeling it. But we never sort of get to that point where we have a bedroom or a sexual relationship, because that's what the ultimate soulmate relationship is. It's more on a spiritual level where we go to a much, much higher plane together and we have that amazing connection. Yes, we might be attracted to each other, but we quickly realize that that's what's not meant to be. And that could very well be because we're already happily in other committed relationships, and we acknowledge the fact that we are attracted to each other and we have this very powerful connection, but we keep it on a very platonic level, but we are just good friends or best friends even. And it goes past that point. That's the ultimate soulmate relationship. For us mere mortals here on earth, most of us tend to think of the love of our life as our soulmate, and we use those words and we see it in the media and we see it in films, and that's the word that we can associate with. So I'm not going to shatter those illusions for those people that say, oh, I'm looking for my soulmate. Just know that they're my belief systems on what I believe the ultimate soulmate is, and what I believe a soulmate relationship is that it's not always about a love affair. But those that want to put it into soulmate / love affair, love of my life, the person I'm meant to be with, the one I'm connected to by the soul, we'll just call it a soulmate relationship today, and then everybody's happy. So why do we want to attract somebody into our lives that we can spend the rest of our lives with, or somebody that we feel connected? I believe we're not designed to walk around in ones. I believe that we're much more powerful and feel much more settled in our soul when we have someone by our side that we can relate to, that we're proud of, somebody that's there as our partner, that's our rock. They are able to see us for all our vulnerable points, and also to be able to see all our good points. And it's somebody that we want to share our lives with. It's somebody that we want to share every intricate little detail with. In a good relationship, somebody should be bringing out the best in you. That should be somebody that's loving and kind and gentle and encourages you to be the very, very best person that you can be. They don't try and intimidate you, demand too much of you, try and control you, or try and manipulate you, or emotionally keep you off balance. That's not a positive relationship. That's a completely different relationship altogether. And most of us don't want that sort of relationship. Most of us just want somebody that we can call our very own, somebody that we can rely on, that's there through thick and thin in our lives, somebody that we can spend quality time with, somebody that gets us, somebody that understands us. And I know for many of us, you know, we have more than one relationship in our lives, and we sort of go through a myriad of what we think is right, wrong, or what we need or what we don't need. And hopefully as we mature and get older and wiser, we sort of understand what it is that we need in a relationship. So today in the workshop, I'd like to sort of teach you how to write the recipe to attract your soulmate or your soul partner or your love of your life, whatever label you'd like to put on it. Now let's keep it very, very basic so that we can keep it very simple. And I don't need you to sort of put in the comments box when you say, hi, it's Mary and I'm from Scotland. You don't need to tell me, and by the way, I've had 3 relationships, or I've had 33 of them. I think that's something we can keep private. But I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have about a soulmate. And no, I will not give you a reading on your current love interest as are they your soulmate. If you have any questions about what I've spoken about in the workshop, I'm happy to answer those for you. And I will get back to you within 48 hours here on the feed. So for those of you that want to know how to attract a new love or a soulmate into your life, this is what we're going to be teaching you today. So let's keep it very basic. Let's keep it very simple. So if we've had 2 relationships, let's get 2 pieces of paper. Draw a line down the middle. On one side, we're going to write all the good points. On the other side of the other column, we're going to write all their bad points. So we do that for both relationships that we've had. Then I want you to get a 3rd piece of paper, and we're going to start writing the recipe for our new love interest or our soulmate. So taking inspiration from what we have written down of our 2 previous relationships, you might be looking for somebody that has a sense of humor. They might need to look a certain way. You might want somebody that's tall, dark and handsome. So put all those things down. You want somebody with a sense of humor. You want someone that's kind, somebody that's loving, somebody that talks, somebody that listens to you, somebody that gets on well with your mother. Whatever's important to you and are good points and things that you know that you need in a relationship to be happy, then I want you to put those down. They don't need to make sense. They don't need to be in a sentence. We're not writing a novel. You can put them down in point form. Now, I want you to be very, very clear on what you want. Now, if somebody having their own teeth is important to you, as one lady pointed out to me once when I was teaching a workshop in Taree, and I was talking about, you know, the good points or the things that you really must have in a relationship, and she put her hand up and she said to me, excuse me, do you mind if I put down on my list, I want a man with his own teeth? Well, everybody in the room started to laugh. I certainly didn't. And I thanked her profusely for sharing with us that something that was very important to her. And I asked her if she wouldn't mind sharing with us why that was so important to her. And she said she'd been in this most amazing relationship with this absolutely wonderful man. She said until it got to the point that he said, excuse me, darling, and he pulled his teeth out and put them in a glass of water next to the bed. She said, and all night she couldn't sleep because she had, you know, she couldn't sleep for these teeth in the glass of water. She said, and she was young and she was naive, and, you know, she didn't sort of probably even think of somebody young having a full set of dentures, but that really turned her off that relationship and she never saw this man again. Now, I know that that might sound a little bit extreme, but to her that was important. She didn't like it. It wasn't comfortable for her, so to her that was an important thing to put on her list. And I can remember many years ago when I was single, I sort of said I wanted somebody that could talk and had hair. I have a real thing against men being bald. I don't particularly like it, and I know it's the fashion, they all shave their hair off these days, but it's not something that I like. So when I, you know, jokingly said, well, you know, this is what I'd put on my list, everybody started to laugh, and I said, but it's important. If you're a talker and you're married to someone that doesn't talk, or in a relationship with someone that doesn't talk, it makes it really difficult. So you need to put down the things that are important to you, and everybody might have something different. I know there's people that don't like people with red hair or don't want red-headed children. Well, that's the case. Put that down on your list. But also be very aware of putting down on your list too the things that you don't want. I don't want someone with red hair. I don't want somebody with false teeth. Whatever the case may be, and be very clear and precise on what you want. Now, this might seem as if we're being a little bit too pedantic here, but it's not unrealistic this day and age, I think, to put on your list that you want a man with a job. You know, if you're in a comfortable financial position, you don't want somebody that you've got to completely share, you know, your earnings with. You want somebody that contributes to the household budget as well. So be precise in what you're looking for. So when you think you've got, you know, the list worked out of your do's and don'ts of what you want, then I suggest give it to your closest friend, your best bud. Get that person to read over the list, because I'm sure there's been many times that they've sat there and listened to you, you know, whinging and moaning or crying over a relationship that didn't work out. So they might even have a few suggestions that they want to add to the list as well. When you think you've got your list worked out, then I want you to sort of write it out in a manner that's sort of legible so that you can read it out. And by then you might edit it down or minimize it a bit more so that you've got it in bullet points and things that are important to you coming down the list and the things that you don't want. Don't forget on the bottom of the list to make sure you put you want the relationship in this lifetime and now, because we are going to be reading this out to the universe. We are going to be sharing it with the universe and telling the universe or the powers that be, whatever you believe in, this is what I want. This is what I need in my life, and this is what I expect to get. And I want it now. I don't want it in 6 months' time or 10 years' time. I want it in this lifetime, and I want it now. So we've written our list of what we want for our soulmate. How do we then go about attracting the soulmate into our lives? Well, very easily. We've written our list. We know all the do's and all the don'ts that we want. We're ready to read our list out aloud. We get our soulmate candle. Now, I've specifically designed a candle called Soulmate to enhance and bring towards you your soulmate, the person that you want in your life. So we go to read out our list of our do's and don'ts of our soulmate. Now, I want you to pick a time of the day that you can do this every day for the next 7 days. Now, this only takes a little bit of time to read it out, but bearing in mind, I want you to burn your candle for a minimum of 15 minutes to 2 hours. Preferably 2 hours is better because we've got more time that we're staring into the flame and we're pondering on our list of what we've put on our list and intensifying the energy, but 15 minutes will suffice. Now, if you pick 7 o'clock at night, then it's got to be 7 o'clock at night for the next 7 days. Then after that, if you haven't already got your soulmate, which you may not have, then I want you to pick a time that you will stick to every week. So 1 day a week at the same time. It doesn't need to be at the same time as you did in your first 7 days. So you did 7 o'clock nightly during the week, you know, for the 7 days, but then you want to change it to doing it once a week, and you're going to do it on a Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. So then you make sure that every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, no matter where you are, whether you're on holidays or whatever, that you keep up this ritual. And you light your candle for 15 minutes to 2 hours, reading out your list again until your soulmate arrives. So you light your candle, you put your list underneath, you put your list on a coaster, never directly on the furniture because the glass container can get hot, and the soy wax never gets hot, but the glass container gets hot. So we burn our candle for 15 minutes to 2 hours, never under air conditioning, fans and all those sort of things, away from pets and children, never underneath curtains or anything like that. And then we never blow out a candle. We either can use the glass lid that's come with your extra large candle, or you can use a candle snuff. And the reasons why we don't blow out a candle is it's said to be that we're blowing away the pixies, and we don't want to blow away the pixies. They're our little friends. For those of you that might feel that you can't work with an extra large candle, we have a gift box where you can make it up with any of the 28 candles in our range. This week I made up of 2 soulmate candles and a love candle in the middle. The reasons why I've done this is you might want to simultaneously burn your soulmate candle but have a secondary list and burn it under your love candle, just to enhance the experience and maybe speed the process up a little bit, and showing the universe that you truly do want true love in your life as well. So they will burn for about 15 hours each. Those of you that don't want to work with a flame, you can work with a melt warmer. These here in Australia you can pick up at your local supermarket for around $15. You put 2 teaspoons of your soulmate wax in there at the beginning of the week, adding a half a teaspoon per day, reading your list out aloud, popping it on a coaster, putting it on. This is electric. You just need to turn it on when you go to do that and then turn it off before you leave. They're perfectly fine to work in your office. So that's a little bit of a story about soulmates. And it's interesting because a soulmate should grow with us. We should have maybe some lessons that we need to learn, even in a very positive way, with a soulmate. A good relationship takes time. A good relationship needs nurturing. It needs feeding and watering. We can't always have our own way all the time in a relationship. We do have to be mindful and considerate of the other person. And a good relationship changes and grows and evolves over time. You know, in the very beginning, we're in this very honeymoon phase where we can't get enough of each other, and, you know, we're like little chatty magpies, and then all of a sudden, you know, we get more serious and we start, you know, setting up home together, and the day-to-day living and, you know, finances and everything seem to be a sort of a bit of a passion killer, and sort of, you know, can be the thing that can be quite destructive in a relationship. But if you've built a very solid foundation where the two of you talk about anything and everything, and you know, always listen to the other person's point of view, you mightn't always agree with it, then at least we've got a good basis, a good starting off point to enable us to be able to sort of say, well, we can work through anything that is thrown to us. So it's really important that, you know, we don't just look at that beautiful feeling that comes at the very beginning of love as the thing that we want to attain and maintain for the rest of our lives, but to know that a relationship grows and evolves and goes from infancy through to, you know, childhood state into teenage state and into adulthood. And that's the test of time of a good relationship. Can we have more than one soulmate? Most definitely we can. And as I spoke about at the beginning of the workshop, not all soulmate relationships have a sexual connotation. We can have a soulmate relationship with somebody that we have no physical interest in. It could be somebody of the same sex, that's somebody that we really, really, really get on well with, and we jokingly call them our soul sister. Well, there's nothing wrong with calling them that, because they may very well be your soul sister. It is somebody that you have a soul connection with, like a soulmate, but you've been sisters in a previous life, and this is why in this lifetime you still feel that very definite connection. Or a soul brother, you feel that very definite connection between the two of you, but knowing that there, you know, would never be a relationship or a romance there, but we still have that very special soul connection. So we can have soul connections with many people. Can we have more than one soulmate / lover in our lifetime? Of course we can. Not always does everybody have the opportunity to spend the rest of their lives with just one mate. Sometimes tragedy happens, or we grow apart, or for whatever reason. I mean, you know, there's soulmate relationships don't necessarily live happily ever after and ride off on the white steed. They, you know, they may have a certain lifespan as well. They might only be meant to go for 2 years, and then that's the end of the karma or the lessons that were attached to that soulmate relationship. And then once we've repaid that, we're freeing each other up to go on and explore other potential soulmate relationships. So I hope this has been helpful for you to understand a little bit more about soulmates and how to attract your soulmate into your life and your soulmate/lover relationship, particularly on this very special week called Valentine's Day week. I hope you can join us again next week. Next week, we're going to be working with the full moon in Virgo as our workshop next week. So I hope you're going to be able to join us for that. For those of you that might want to book a reading with me, my name's Amanda Hall. You can go to my website, www.amandahallpsychic.com.au. When you're there, you'll find a little pop-up thing that'll pop up and says, you know, do you want to join our newsletter? Please, by all means, fill that in. That will entitle you to a free astrology chart. And for those of you that might want to purchase a reading with me, when you get to the checkout or product, type in the word in capital letters Facebook, and you will receive a discount for being part of our Facebook series here on Facebook Live. But we have lots of interesting products over at Amanda Hall Psychic. We have a wonderful range of soy candles. We have 28 in the range. We have lots of psychic jewelry. We have readings. We have astrology charts. We have tarot sets if you want to teach yourself tarot. For those of you that don't know, that I've been a tarot teacher for nearly 40 years, and I've got a couple of products out in the marketplace, one called Simply Tarot and the other one called Secrets of Tarot. And these are kits that come with a book and cards and the ability to teach yourself tarot. But also, while you're on our website, check out our free Simply Tarot widget. That's where you can go in and you can do a reading for yourself free of charge as many times as you like on any device you like, and share it with your friends. That's there, it's free. It's there for you to be able to learn and work with your own tarot each and every day. That, you know, you do the little shuffle on the screen and it brings up the cards and it tells you what position they're in, and the basic meaning is on the card. So then you interpret that to where the position is with the card. And that's something, you know, sometimes, you know, you might have a question at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm not available and neither is anybody else, but you need to know an answer to that pressing question. So that's why we've designed the tarot widget for you. So I hope you have a great week wherever you are in this amazing planet of ours, and be kind to each other. And if you don't have that someone special in your life to share Valentine's Day with, be kind to yourself. Take yourself out to dinner. Buy yourself a gift. Just enjoy being who you are, because there's times in our lives where we are meant to be on our own, where we're meant to be giving our loving energy to ourselves and sort of, you know, refilling the coffers of who we are as a person after coming out of a difficult relationship. Or it's just a time when we haven't really met somebody that we really want to spend time with. There's no right or wrong way at how to attract a relationship, and there's no right or wrong way that says we all have to be in relationships or we all don't have to be. That's a very, very personal thing. But can I share one thing with you? If you find that someone special, somebody that makes your heart sing, that somebody makes you feel 10 foot tall, that you want to just race up and give them a hug when they walk into the room, then hang on to that, because love is very, very special. It is the thing that makes the world go round. I know they say money makes the world go round. I don't believe so. Money just makes your life a little bit easier, but it's truly love that makes the world go round, and we all have so much love to give. And I think if everybody started to be a little bit more loving and a little bit kinder to their fellow man, I think the world would be such a better place, and greed would probably then fall way down the list, because people wouldn't be so obsessed with money and trying to fill their hearts with success and money and greed. Instead, they'd fill it with love, and we would have a much more calm, loving society for everybody to flourish in. Anyway, until next week, bye for now.